Hey guys, so I fell asleep, so now I'm like all out of it, but I'm here and I just wanted to see if you guys wanted to talk about anything specific. But this is from my live stream earlier and I thought it was very cool, so I wanted to show you this. Really interesting stuff. It's becoming more and more clear for me. And I think that's happening for everybody. I was on Gina Maria Colvin Hill's live stream earlier, which is always a lot of fun. She's got such a positive outlook. And she, like some others that I see, don't necessarily define this, but speak about the feelings that they have while they're in the presence of these objects. Others are kind of like understanding what they are differently than I am. But yeah, it's always a lot of fun to hear what she has to say. Hey, what's up, guys? Awesome. Nice. Sure, what's that? Pylons? What's pylons? Tell me. How are you, Wrecked? Hi, Soul Illumination. Good to see you here. Christian Nation, Michael, Huggy Bear, Miss Q, Christine Holiday. Really good to have you all. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. So, radio towers, interesting. So I've been wanting to do some more research on that myself. The best research that I've seen recently was a show that Leak Project did, but I don't think that he would appreciate me using his channel to reference right now. And are these things that have been around, like Ancient of Days type things that are here on Earth? Let's just see what we can find. How about that? But yeah, let me show you this real quick. This is from earlier, from my live stream. And it's going to be a little bit fuzzy because the resolution's different on the live stream. And I just took screenshots of the actual stream. So it's different than normal, than what I would normally be showing when it's directly from what I film, but super cool. So yeah, just reminds you that we are in a matrix and we've entered the omniverse part where we're in the playland of humans. We're literally in like a playland. This is our world and it interacts with us. And it's the way that it was supposed to be. So it's not necessarily what we're used to seeing. That's the thing. It's so different from what we're used to that it just brings up so many questions. But these are, the way I see it, spirit beings. And the Naga, like I speak of, I mean, you can see like textures and, I mean, it's like dragons, white dragons. Benevolent dragons, and they're showing up more and more clear. But we looked at the Naga the other day, and I don't know if you had time to research some more of that, but that is really what I'm seeing up there. Let's see, do they have any picture? They don't really have pictures too frequently in here. But yeah, I mean, see stuff like this here with the head, different mixtures of animals, with a snake body. So really crazy stuff, but beautiful and ancient. This is depicted all over the world, as we spoke about last live stream, or the last longer live stream I did, when I showed you the video from Uwak Media. He really covered that well. And I thought of dragons in the description, so that had some really good stuff as well. But yeah, that was just one cloud that I watched morph while I was doing the live stream earlier, over about a 10-minute period. Looks really blurry now that it's translating all the way, now that it's uploaded. But within it, you can see objects, you can see dark matter, which I believe that we're going to use our consciousness to use dark matter to create here on Earth, to expand the heavens. And we're able to expand the heavens once we're reconnected to spirit. So where two of us are present and creating by speaking together and interacting, we're actually expanding the world. And the poles were inverted, and so that's being reversed, and so now we're able to get back to like expanding this world and expanding the heavens and creating. And creating is the most powerful tool that we have as beings on this earth. It's very, very powerful. Yeah, see, I don't know, this looks so interesting, doesn't it? But you also see like the heavenly spheres within, so it's almost like there's beings with Merkabas, and it's just amazing. It's quite amazing. Interesting. So what do you think that means about Trump? Are you saying that Trump is part of a bloodline that we should be following? Or are you saying that Trump is the chosen one? Or a chosen one? Oh, it looks like you're leaving. Yes, elemental dragons are for protection, Christine Holiday says. Thank you. Beautiful. Hey, Kanda. Can I point out the dark matter? Yes. Miss Q, I love you. Yes, Merkaba, right? Yeah, I have seen Cece. She stopped in not too long ago, yes. I have seen her recently. Not maybe in the past 2 days, but I've definitely seen her around recently. So they're here, you just have to ask for help. So, yes. As far as the dark matter goes, dark matter is part of our source. That is why we hear about the dark star. So I believe that's what our star, Sirius, is emanating. Part of what she emanates is dark matter. And I can usually see bits of it, but I mean, some of it I'm just guessing, not all of it is dark matter. I just think that it's mixed in there along with the other cool stuff. Oh, and I saw an angel on my last one that I was filming very clearly. See, but see, that could also be part of the spirit being. So I think that it will become more and more clear as what people are calling like the dusty rocks and things like that. I think that that's actually part of Mercury, part of, which is supposedly like an Oort cloud, which is kind of surrounding Earth right now. So I think that it's just like dark matter that we're bringing back together from old Earth and making into new Earth. It's just a theory, but yeah, I see lots of different things here. So I think it's going to become more clear, and I could work on these things a lot more. Sometimes I'm so blown away by it that I'm like, okay, that's enough. And then I bring it to, but see, you can see the spheres. I mean, this is clearly like a dragon being, clearly. Yeah. Yeah, Kanda, I haven't heard from her, but last time I talked to her, yes. She was busy with work. She went back to a 3D type job is what her words were, and yeah, we have to be creative with what we see. Stars are angels, absolutely, Randall. Yep, they are definitely ascended beings, extraterrestrial beings, angels, and there's so much debate about that. On Gina Maria Colvin Hill's live stream earlier, she made me a moderator again. It got taken away from me, rightfully so, on her part, because I kind of named somebody at that time as an antichrist because I was being attacked in the live stream, and people were promoting channels that I knew were not out for the people's best interest. I knew that they were working against people. So I just opened my big mouth, well, typed with my fat fingers, whatever, like, that channel is, is the deception or something, and said that they were antichrist, and it upset her. So anyway, today we were in there, and they were giving us grief, man. They're getting, and that's what her entire live stream was about, was like, there's a lot of dark spirits around, there's a lot of darkness and evil around right now, coming out of the woodworks or like showing up any chance that you give it. They haven't been coming here too often, which is cool. Hey, something what? Nice to have you. And because they know that I don't want to hear it. They know. But they were showing up in her place like crazy today. And so she gave me my moderator wrench back, which was cool. I appreciated that. And there is so much debate. Like, I can recognize what the narrative is just by watching what they're saying, and I can identify them. Oh, I tried to pause this. I'm sorry. Hang on. Oh, it is. Okay. This is on like a lag when I go back to the live streaming. Interesting. So, oh yeah, mud fossil. Mud fossil shows dragons in the landscape. Very cool. You're right. So you can see what the narrative is by just kind of seeing in the larger live streams, especially what they're saying, depending on what the subject matter is. But they really want people to believe that what's above us and what's coming is evil, and they're devils, and they're the fallen angels. And I keep saying, they don't like when I'm there, because I will call them out and I'll say, no, the fallen angels are here on earth. And as I explained very clearly, they're inhabiting human beings, not us. Fallen does have more than one definition. Fallen can just mean flesh. But the fallen serpents, like the beings that we're talking about seeing come, like the ones I'm showing, the ones coming are not negative whatsoever. They're ascended. They're angels, like you said. And the ones that are here on earth are the fallen serpents, and they are what we know as fallen angels, and they are inhabiting people. They are inhabiting vessels, and they are working and typing away and coming to play mind control and telling people what they should think about these things that they're seeing for the very first time, instead of allowing them to come up with their own understanding or do their own research. And that's the stuff that I have a major problem with. I'm very disliked in that world of, the veil, behind the veil where they operate. They do not like what I say and what I bring, but that is oppressive to people. That is harmful to people's psyches. That's harmful. It's traumatizing, and it's not okay. So I'm doing everything I can to stop it on many different fronts in many different ways. But it's not easy. It's everywhere right now. Has anyone seen the planet Nibiru? I believe that Nibiru is New Earth. It is a different realm. So planetary spheres are realms on Earth. So it's not always what we thought of. I see lots of different channels. I'm going to stop talking about different channels, right? So it's a different realm, and I believe it's New Earth realm. Planet X is Sirius, the star. It's source, basically. It's source. It's what emanates our world and our reality and our certain parts of our surroundings. And like we were talking about, stars are angels. I believe that the stars are totally guiding us, and that we come from the stars. Like, we definitely do. And that we're extremely connected. Like, we might still be directly connected to some of the stars that are out there individually, collectively. Some of us come from certain star systems, but so, yeah. Planetary spheres are realms on Earth, and Jupiter realm is what would be considered New Jerusalem or the Promised Land. And that's why I say we can actually create more and more and expand our heavens, and we're doing that now. And some of us have already been doing that, and we've actually opened up new realms above the fourth dimension, which was the veil, which was the rings of Saturn. Like, we've escaped it. We've gone up the cosmic spiral, and consciously we're out. We're up into God's mansion and onto endless rooms. And we're literally, it is a state of being, and heaven is on earth, and hell is on earth as well. But we've escaped hell. We've escaped the lower realms, and we've actually created heaven on earth. And it does go with scripture. It's just not specific enough to help people understand what's taking place right now. And that's why so many people are confused, and they say, I want to go home. And I'm like, if they would just get into a different state of mind, then they would be home before they know it. But even if they were to enter the higher realms consciously, it's like we've been so conditioned and so made to think that this wasn't happening and that this isn't how it was happening, that it's going to take an adjustment for all of us no matter what. It is just going to take an adjustment. That's all there is to it. Yeah, I film the 2 suns every day, so it's actually just the star of Sirius. Our sun is part of a binary system, and as it drew closer together, we rose consciously. And some of us started to really take note, and it interacts with your consciousness. So if you're one of the people that's waking up and looking and searching, and like you, it sounds like you're going to find this information and you're going to awaken more and more. while some people just stay in that 3D world and they work and they don't seek, they don't have time. They just think that it's, they've got to survive in the 3D world and they don't ever have time to seek. They don't awaken those extra senses. That's why this information is so hidden and why it's so important, because it actually helps people to ascend just by knowing it, just by being made aware. So our sun, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Our sun is part of the binary system of Sirius. And it's actually, I'm looking for a message here because I actually have a message that I had up earlier from Gematria that I'm able to put some of the information I already knew before I found Gematria with what I'm learning now, and I get extra stuff. In fact, I just came across some really interesting stuff in Gematria, you guys. I'm probably going to pull it up here in a second to show you. But yeah, so Sirius is actually orbiting the sun now, and it's the blue star. That's why it appears white in the daytime. That's why so many people are seeing like different things depending on where they're at. Depending on where, if it's rising, if it's high up in the sky, just depending on their vantage point. And yeah, so I saw that it was windy there earlier. Hey, my skies. I know what you mean, Peter. And that is a good sign. When you have your dreams back, that means you're free. So, congratulations. We've busted free. Lemuria, nice. Hi, Goddess Supreme. Nice to have you here. Hey, Walt. Did I already say hello? It's good to see you. Hi, Tiki Love. Okay, so let me see. We hear about the true God, and I teach that is Jesus, and I'm probably going to get off the Jesus just for tonight, or just for the moment. How about that? Because this is the spirit, this is the God / goddess of 1,000 different faces and 1,000 different names. This is the goddess that we see appear all over the world, throughout all different cultures, and is given all different names, sometimes multiple names in one incarnation. This deity does become a demigod. Also, yeah, it's wild. So I came across one version of this demigod, and I thought it was quite interesting. But she's not a demigod. He actually is not a demigod. He is an emanation of God. And I don't want to butcher the pronunciation, so I'm just gonna pull it up and go along with it. You guys might already be familiar. The Peacock Angel. We'll see what it says in Wikipedia, and then we can go to another place. But this is just one version, one incarnation of, well, no, this is different. So this is interesting stuff. All right. The Peacock Angel of the Yazidi religion. The Yazidis are an endogamous and mostly Kurmanji speaking group of contested ethnic origin, indigenous to Iraq, Syria, Turkey. The majority of the Yazidis remain in the Middle East today and live in Iraq. It's a monotheistic religion. Okay, so are you guys familiar with this this goddess, god? Yeah, Ria, it's just clearing out the old and bringing in the new. It's clearing out the dark spirits and breathing life into those people that need sentience. That's what I have seen about the winds that are taking place right now. It's actually bringing sentience into our world where it's needed and purifying the wicked spirits, pulling them into the sun. The wicked consciousness is leaving this entire world. Where are you at, Rodzer? So, back to the Rainbow Angel. And I know there's a lag on my live stream, so I don't know, I might be behind on your comments, so I'll come back and see what you're saying. Oh, you guys, right when I woke up, I think I woke up because it sounded like somebody was like dancing above me. And I thought somebody moved into that apartment last week, but I think they moved into the one next to it. So I was thinking to myself, well, no, somebody must have moved in because I hear somebody dancing above my head. And then I came into the living room, same thing in the living room. And then I saw my friend that lives upstairs, and I said, did somebody move into this apartment above me? And she said, no. She literally walked right in upstairs, opened the apartment. There's nobody there. I'm like, okay, that was a spirit dancing above my head. Kind of cool, but it was very, very clearly, I heard it. So I'll be listening for that again. Weird. They just put new floors in. Yeah, I heard them. 8 hours a day, all day, every day, including Saturdays. They've been beating on my walls, on my ceiling, sometimes all 4 of them at the same time. So that's been fun. But anyway, my boyfriend's so positive. He's like, just look forward to better energy. They're just like we're talking about the wind, it's just clearing out the energy and bringing new energy into our realm. So I guess that is what it's about. Like, we're under construction, you know, we're here for an upgrade. We're due for an upgrade, we're under construction, and before you know it, we'll be able to breathe again and experience nice things again. Well, some for the very first time, because I know myself, I've been oppressed my entire life. I was a witness to Saturn's oppression, and I know that I've risen above being subject to that, and now I fight for other people to get out of it, but I'll never have to go back to that oppression, and it's really, really a good feeling. So, okay, so back to the angels. So this particular being, oh, I want to look at this Yahtzee Book of Revelations. It's one of 2 books of the Yazidi religion written in the style of a holy book in the Kurmanji dialect of the Kurdish language. It is claimed that the original text is kept in the village And the black book is kept in... They describe the nature of God. So this is all about monotheism. Oh wow, this is not what I thought it would be. Okay. And they're about monotheism. And so that's what this being is. It's actually an emanation of God here on earth. The Peacock Angel is. So it's like a Christ, but he's like the head of the archangels. He was created before any of the other archangels were created, and he was around when I talk about this a lot, about Adam and the Garden of Eden being, him not being the first creation. And I was blown away by some of the stuff that I found here about this Peacock Angel. Peacock Angel was present in the Garden of Eden at the time of that, and a couple of other things. Let me see if I can find it. It's different because I was on my phone studying, and now I'm on this screen, and it's throwing me off, so I apologize. I'll just read from my phone. Translated in English as the Peacock Angel, is one of the central figures of Yazidi religion. In Yazidi creation stories, God created the world and entrusted it to the care of 7 holy beings. Now, of course, that sticks out to me because we hear about these 7 beings in all different religions, all different cultures as well, right? We hear about it in... Oh, they canceled all the fairies? Wow. Spirit loves me, yeah. Yeah, the 7 holy beings. And so we hear about the 7 sisters, the 7... There's a few different versions of it. And of course, innately we know that it's the same, right? We know. But that's too much critical thinking for most, teachings. So they pull it apart, they label it as different. But yeah, so that stuck out to me. The 7 holy beings known as angels, or the 7 mysteries. Like many aspects of the religion, Melek is subject to varied and ambiguous interpretations. The Book of Revelation, generally believed to have been written by non-Yezidis, along with the Black Book, states that this particular Peacock Angel allocates responsibilities, blessings, and misfortunes upon humanity as he sees fit. So it's almost like this angel is down here as the eyes for God, the eyes of God, like an embodiment of the true God down here keeping tabs on things, really. And makes a point to say that it's not for the race of Adam to question his choices. So that seems to be a running theme throughout. sometimes translated differently, was borrowed from the Aramaic term meaning king or angel. So I am actually comparing this with a coming king or angel. This very much could be the same thing as Jesus, or what we interpret as Jesus. Depicted as a peacock because peacocks represent immortality, and we know that Jesus is risen from the dead. And this is, the peacock is represented immortality because of a folk belief that its flesh does not decay after death. And this symbolism has passed into Yazidi beliefs. Consequently, peacock imagery adorns Yazidi shrines, gateways, graves, houses of worship. The Book of Illumination claims to be the words of Tawûsê Melek himself, states that he allocates responsibilities, blessings, and misfortunes as he sees fit, and that it's not for the race of Adam to question him. We went through that already. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. There's another Sheikh Adi Ibn Musafir believed that the spirit of Tawûsê Melek is the same as his own, perhaps as a reincarnation. But I understand what he's saying. He's saying, no, he's like possessed by the spirit of this Peacock Angel. Okay, so bear with me here. And he is believed to have said, this is a different being right here, this person right here, is believed to have said, I was present when Adam was living in paradise, and also when Nimrod threw Abraham in fire. I was present when God said to me, you are the ruler and the Lord on earth. God, the compassionate, gave me 7 earths and throne of the heaven. I mean, what does that sound like? It sounds just like what we're expecting to happen now. And you know, we've done this many times before. Yeah, 7 sisters, same thing, exactly. 7 chakras, exactly. So it's definitely as above, so below, but this is very much literal as well, as I'm finding out. Hi, Malibu Messiah. Nice to have you here. Don't worry, I'll never forsake you. I'll never block you. I don't know what happened there, but don't worry about it. Things get mixed up over in other chat rooms easily, and there's a lot of, I was just talking about it earlier, a lot of nonsense going on, so it's easy to get caught up in the mix, so don't worry about a thing. I'm really glad to have you here. I think you're pretty cool. I like you a lot. And so the Phoenician Saturn worshippers, yeah. So yeah, that is something to look into, the fact that oh, good night, Peter. Thank you for stopping in. Yeah, the Saturn worship is over, the way I see it. So this is like, we're moving up and out of all that. That's what created the Saturn matrix, right? Yeah, don't worry about that. You know, that's never fun. I'm blocked all over YouTube. I can't comment on any channels. And it's not because I did anything wrong. It's because they don't want me putting my truth in front of thousands of people at once. It's too much. They know that one person could change this entire world. One person could take the entire Illuminati down, and has, by the way. Well, not one person, but the Illuminati has been overcome. Satan has been overcome. So, be joyous. It's happening. It's definitely happening. But it doesn't take much for people to wake up, especially right now. And if we're out there putting our truths, that's why I always ask you guys to go around and see all the amazing stuff you're saying here. You guys all have your keys, and just spread them. Spread them in the other live streams where people can see, because people are hungry for knowledge. This is the age of Aquarius, and people are really, really hungry for truth. They don't want any more BS. They want the truth. So it gets pretty interesting here. God gave me 7 earths and the throne of heaven. Other accounts differ from that of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They believe that God first created Tawûsê Melek from his own illumination, like I was saying earlier, and that the other 6 archangels were created later. God ordered Tawûsê not to bow to other beings. Then God created, let's see if we can find some images while I'm trying to read. I also wanted to look at the crocodile Messiah. There is also a crocodile Messiah, which is so cool. And I keep seeing crocodiles next to the sun. Well, one in particular. But that we can do separately. Very cool, right? Yezidi angel. Aw, cute. Very cool. They believe that God first created from, okay, I already read that, and that then the other 6 came, other archangels came. So he's like the head archangel. God, now this is where I was really starting to become blown away, and I kind of wanted some other input. I've been speaking about how I say that Satan created Adam at a separate time. But then I had some information that the true gods that created humans created them as well. So there's just a lot of confusion around that for me. A lot of people like to say that Satan is the same being, just a different version of the true God. But I have information that it's like a totally different, totally separate being altogether. So I'm just trying to understand this stuff myself. But here it says that God ordered Tawûsê not to bow to other beings, and then God created the other archangels and ordered them to bring him dust from the earth and build the body of Adam. Then God gave life to Adam from his own breath and instructed all archangels to bow to Adam. The archangels obeyed except for Tawûsê. In answer to God, Tawûsê replied, "How can I submit to another being? I am from your illumination, while Adam is made of dust." So that brings me back to square one on confusion with that stuff, but I'm going to keep searching. That's why I wasn't even really going to bring this up, but I did, just because, whatever, you know? I think it's really cool. Hi, Order of Wolves. Yeah, so I'm still trying to figure out what's what surrounding that, because I have conflicting information about the demiurge God who created Adam. And so I'm always willing to correct myself if I'm wrong, but I'm also just trying to understand these things, because many times gods will have multiple names for one incarnation or for one being. You know, we'll have, especially in mythology. So that happens. So it can get very confusing. And considering we are one consciousness, it can get confusing. You feel like an avatar in a game. Polar bear stare. I know. But then something comes along to really bring you back down and add seriousness back into it and let you realize that this is creation and that we definitely chose this at some level at some point, and that it's about to get really good, and that we're going to be able to experience the way that we were meant to, the way that I believe we were intended to experience as human beings. Like the resonance is, did I take that off? I meant to keep that up. The resonance is evening out. Oops. It keeps going back and forth. I think that somebody's been going back and forth with it. I know that I've been able to adjust it myself with a couple of different methods, and prayer and see, and then like all of a sudden overnight when I'm asleep, all of a sudden it goes haywire. So I have to get up and do this like specific method of prayer again. And I don't know if I can go back in time. I don't think that this allows for that, unfortunately. I do have snapshots like on my community page and stuff, but it's evening out and it's becoming like it's the ancient frequencies. So like take this away. That's not really supposed to be that way. I don't believe it's. For a while I thought that's because that was helping us ascend somehow, but I woke up after this with like a searing feeling in my head, and I used to think that that was like ascension. Now I'm wondering if it's not some sort of a foul play situation, but then it goes back to nice and normal and we feel good, It's almost like this is an energy siphoning type behavior here. So it's getting back to normal much more frequently, and we're keeping other hands off of it. And it's going to be working for optimal human experience. We're always going to be able to feel creative, calm, compassionate towards each other, loving, you know, all of the things that we should feel. And I don't believe that's mind control. I believe that's what we were meant to feel, like the ancient frequencies that were on Earth all of the time, untouched, before all of this weird stuff came about, before the demiurge, before Adam. You know, people did live in harmony and were able to create and write, and with their writing, create more. I mean, it's a magical place when it gets back to the way it's supposed to be, and that's where we're headed. We're headed back towards that magical place. So, yeah, I felt that way for a while, Miss Q, but that has passed. So I feel like that's almost a stage. And not that it's not a legit stage, but I feel like there's just more. There's more to it than that, you know. We move on to, we graduate from that stage. Yes, we are reconnecting to Source directly. Many are. I believe that many came in connected, and that's Saturn's environment actually created a cutoff from that for many. I can only speak for myself and for what I see of others, you know. I believe that ultimately right now, many of us are reconnected. I think we're just now reconnecting fully. Like the ones, when I say God's chosen, like you can choose to be chosen by quitting the world and doing God's will and being guided to do God's will. So whenever I say like God's chosen people, I'm not saying that God had favorites. I got reamed out for saying that earlier again. It was by a troll, but whatever. So, but I mean, I understand too, like what kind of impression that might leave for somebody that doesn't understand these things. Like, while I do cover these on my channel, it's many, like maybe even 100 videos ago that I did something to explain my point of view on that. So let me just explain it again. I think that God's chosen people are reconnected right now, fully. We're like married. We went through the marriage to God. We went through the whole kiss on the neck. We went through the Truman Show stage. We went through all the different stuff, you know, and now we're actually physically one with God. And we're trying to guide as many out of Saturn and up into the higher realms with us, consciously, physically, spiritually, even as we still are learning, you know, so that we can help others become sovereign gods of their own, even while we're still going through the process. That's what I believe is happening right now. I just feel like there's something happened where people need help. People need guidance out, whether they want to believe that or think that or not, because of the situation with the Antichrist, if you will, pulling people back down into Saturn and opening their third eye with artificial intelligence instead of actual truth. They made up their own story and think that that's going to fly, but really it's just opening people's third eye back up into Saturn matrix, not into the higher realms. Hello, Jerome. Yeah, I'm an eternal student as well. For sure. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to look at with this particular being. So essentially this is the representative of God on the face of the earth, just like Jesus would have been considered. You know, and that's why a lot of times I'll say Jesus of Nazareth was not a representative of the Holy Spirit. And I have the message all the time that he was sent by Satan to condemn, so that people would be condemned. And that is exactly what's happening. But then at the same time, it's tough because I don't want that to take away, and neither does the Holy Spirit, who I get the messages from, you know, from the fact that there is representatives of the true God that are coming and that are here and that are representing God and that have been here throughout time. That was an embodiment of all of those, only it was a false embodiment. And the true Jesus's wisdom, the true God representative's wisdom was taken and put into the New Testament. So that's what we see. That is what we see. But this is a representative of God on the face of the earth and comes down to earth. They believed on the first Wednesday of Nisan, and then it says April. Yezidis hold that God created Tawûsê Melek on this day and celebrate it as New Year's Day. Yezidis argue that the order to bow to Adam was only a test for Tawûsê, since if God commands anything, then it must happen. God could have made him submit to Adam, but Tawûsê gave Tawûsê the choice as a test. They believe that their respect and praise towards Tawûsê is a way to acknowledge his majestic and sublime nature. And it's cool if you look at the one here who thinks that he's an embodiment of this being, you know, just another one. It says that he was like kind of like a loner, liked to be alone, but would come out to perform miracles. Despite his desire for seclusion, he impressed the local population with his asceticism, which is a lifestyle characterized by absence from sensual pleasures, and miracles. So he was a holy man. He was a holy man. And this is the Kurds. Pretty cool stuff. So I just came across that. That's the type of stuff that I'll run into in Gematria. And a lot of these messages will be personal to you, to guide you along your path. But there's also a lot of nonsense in there right now, I'm not going to lie. So, what are you guys up to anyways? Somebody asked me to look at the towers. Is he still here? I might have to do that another show. Yeah, it's been an hour, so like I think that I just wanted to come on and say hello and see what came up. I'm really, really glad you guys are here. And I can't wait to do this more often now that I have this set up this way. Oh, you're all ears tonight, Malibu. That's good. Yeah, I believe some of the same things that you guys are saying. Thank you. You guys are amazing. I think there was a couple things on my channel I was going to go over really quick, just to my community page, because I know that that doesn't really get, people don't really get to see that. It's not like a Facebook here, you know. But I don't have Facebook. I don't really have my stuff set up the way I would like to, or the way maybe we'll get it one day. But if you ever do wonder what's going on in the fifth world, go to my community page. Yeah, so there's a lot of confusion right now with the fires and like the dew. People are saying that the UFOs are setting it, the this, the that. I've already done a show on that, and I say that, you know, that's the hot spots in the ground that are causing the fires. And that's pretty clear to see. It's not hard to see, but there's tons of, they're using it to their advantage. And they want people to believe that, you know, it's the good guys coming, or that they're not so good guys coming, that are setting fires and whatnot, and that's just not the case. Oh, I actually have comments today. Interesting. I tried to lift all of the bans on my comments. Yeah, the sun is not depleted of energy. I don't know where people, like the sun where I'm at is so bright. It's actually it's supposed to get 7 times as bright as usual right now. So it's not depleted of energy. I don't know where these channels are reporting. I know like the Blue Kool-Aid channel is constantly reporting that like they're sucking energy. No, it's like a fuel station. And besides, it's an ascended being at the same time. So we just don't know how all of this works yet. I mean, I'd like to study more and be shown more and more. But nothing is siphoning the energy from our system right now. I know that Claudia Albers says that a lot too, and she says that Lucifer is destroying the planet. Completely the opposite, okay? These beings are giving us back our resonance. They might be wrapping up old timelines, but not with flesh and blood people on it. So there's just so much disinformation out there, and I try to address it all, but you know, anyhow. Yeah, look at how these change over time, like really cool. The dragon Naga beings. And that is the uncrossing of our optic fibers happening, because not everybody can see that, but that is the sun brightening. And that's right. Now, I've been saying that Mercury and Sirius are the same thing, and that gets confusing because, like I said, Sirius can emanate. So I believe that Sirius is emanating the Oort cloud that's considered Mercury, that's, you know, surrounding our Earth. But when I made the connection between Sirius and Mercury, next thing I know, they were trying to say that it was Venus, okay? They wanted to make everybody believe that Mercury and Venus were tied in together. There's something about wanting Venus to be the queen of heaven, and somehow that allows the Saturn system to stay in place. Well, I've already said our solar plexus is reconnected back to the true source, which is Sirius, and not bound by Venus, because Venus had us bound, and that's been undone. Okay, so Venus is the false light. Venus was keeping us from the higher realms. It was emulating the higher realms. It is emulating the higher realms now with its technology of emanation. And so that's why they bring it up all the time. But, you know, I'm here to tell you, Venus is the false light and not the Queen of Heaven. And that was this morning. That was some BS last night that I had to deal with that I'm not even going to get into. But when I tell you that I'm behind the scenes doing things, trust me, I'm behind the scenes dealing with these people that are like literally trying to steal the crown from us. So just know I'm out here fighting for us day in, day out. But I mean, I don't need credit for it. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Sometimes the only way I can reach them is to put my information here. So anyway, like I said, so much taking place right now. Trust the Father Almighty. Everyone have faith right now. That's that. So like I said, there is usually interesting stuff on my community page. But yeah, that's about it. I think there's a picture of me, a recent picture I was going to show you, and then I'm going to go. Yeah, so some different messages that I've gotten here. You can read more if you like. Tell the good news. Yeshua is coming to all of creation. It's true. It's happening. Here is the encyclopedia that I mentioned before, the China Buddhism Encyclopedia, but it is the encyclopedia of dragons and serpents and Naga. So there's a lot of really good information in there. It even talks about how Gaia, Mother Earth, is tied in with the dragons. Is a dragon, really? Okay. And somebody did mention that, like, yes, some of the people incarnated right now are considered dragon spirits. I might be one of those. It's pretty cool. So we have dragon's blood. We have the blood of the slain kings. And I'm not alone. There's many of us. But then, you know, this is the blood of the living waters that we can pass on to anybody who wants life, who wants eternal life, and we can bring you into the higher realms and, you know, guide you to your own personal same situation. So that's the difference between Jesus type followers and then the ones that want to enslave you still, you know. They want to tell you not to follow Jesus, but they literally want to enslave you. They want to keep humanity enslaved. So don't be fooled by all of that nonsense, please. I know it's confusing, and I try to clear it up as much as possible. But, yeah. Yeah, it is, Malibu. Totally. It's the light coming in. It's the beauty and the light. Love you guys. Oh, hi, Ryder. Hi, you guys. So good to have you. Yeah, that's right, Kevin. The Father has plans for every single one of us. That's right. But we just don't want, you know, the reason I push things, I just don't want people getting stuck down in that place that they don't need to be anymore. So I love you too, Monica. You guys are amazing. Hi, Masterpiece Conspiracy. That's right. They are losing power. You're absolutely right. so much more is happening than we're able to see right now. I think that it's going to all really show very soon. I mean, we've already entered the higher realms, and I do believe more than the worst is over. But, you know, what did I hear? That there was like 1,200 children that came filing out of some underground. How many of us have been praying for that to happen, you know, very specifically? And they're not going to report that on the news. I saw on, it was kind of funny actually, because Marfugal was doing a live call-in show, and I'll try to catch a little bit time to time so I can keep up with what, you know, and it even sounds like people are really raising a consciousness everywhere. Like they're focusing on what's important, is what I mean. And so I was listening to this show. I ended up listening for like a few minutes yesterday, and this woman came on, so you'll have to check that part out. And she was talking about how there were busts happening, and that's what some of the hot spots and the fires, they're having to burn the wicked out from underground. And that they actually released like thousands of kids from underground. Now, there's these underground facilities all over the world, so we keep praying, okay? And we keep watching those children be set free. But, yeah, Roseanne, I was really following her for a while, but then it's like certain people know what's happening. They know what time it is, and yeah. So we'll keep watching. I do like what she says. I do. Yeah, she is funny, and I love her too. But yeah, so we'll keep seeing what happens. But there, you know, you're not going to hear that type of thing unless you accidentally hear it through somebody that knows, that has specifics, you know. And that is the kind of news I'm looking for. I would like to know about the miracles taking place around the world right now that I know that they are taking place and not being reported. I know that we stopped hearing about the Bahamas because I know that situation had a huge turnaround, and that just about everybody is pretty A-okay. And that was a miraculous recovery. But they didn't want to report that. So they were asked not to report anything if they weren't going to report the good news, to stop making up the fake news. And they sure did. You know, people are following suit. But it's just sad, the mentality that some still have, the mainstream. You know, not just the mainstream news. It's more than that. It's like it's everywhere. So anyway, enough negativity. I know I'm pretty negative tonight about some stuff, so a real picture of Earth, right? Yeah, she's true to herself. Do love that. Yep, they mock the peeps constantly. Yep. Yeah, Roseanne is cool. Definitely, definitely. There's just like some of these Hollywood people know so much. But, you know, we just got to trust God's got everything in order. The Most High, the Father Almighty, has things in order and is revealing things as they should be revealed. I mentioned about Kanye earlier. I believe that Kanye West is going to somehow reveal more and more about the fact that Jesus is on earth right now. And, you know, we'll see where that goes. I've also seen that Trump is going to as well. But do you see, like, the people would expect for the president to come running and say, Jesus is here, you know? But that's absolutely not how it works. Not at all. Not at all. Oh my gosh, really, Order of Wolves? Oh my gosh. Well, let's pray. So, Father Almighty, can you please safely have all of those children released, even if they're involved in drugs, because once it becomes a sex ring and a drug ring, it's pretty serious business there. And, may you just relieve the victims, pull them out, hold the ones responsible that are allowing this type of thing, get everybody the help they need, and do it as safely as possible. In Jesus' name, please, I pray that will happen. I know, when I was a kid, Roseanne was huge too. Yeah, if they're repenting for forgiveness, that's a huge thing. Right, Rhea? That is a big thing. And the message that I get is most of these people are not going to be wanting to repent or ask for forgiveness until it's like way too late. Well, it's been way too late. It's been way, way too late. So I'm not really sure what will take place with all of that, but we will see. We will continue to pray and trust the Father's plan. Nothing like it was taught in religion. Nothing. Yep, let it be. All right, you guys, thank you for being here, and I really had a good time. So have a great Saturday evening. Or wait, Friday evening. I have to get up pretty early tomorrow and deal with some family business as it comes up. You guys are amazing. Yeah. Right, Ryder? I love it. We're going to get him out of there safely and effectively. And we might not hear about it, but since you're in the neighborhood, let us know what you find out. And I pray that it happens all over the world. There's a lot of these underground facilities everywhere. And they all need to be cleared out. And I know that some of them have been and some of them are in the process of. But they all need to be. You all have a wonderful, beautiful night. Oh, and protect President Trump. He's going to be just fine. Please don't allow any black magic to be used against President Trump. In Jesus' name. See you guys. Peace, love, happiness, joy, creation, all of it. Let's do it together. Talk to you soon.